Hello, welcome back. Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger. The date is August 22nd, 2023. As some of you can see, we got Wesley here in my old Brazilian Jiu Jitsu gi. Because today I'm going to show you guys some basic guard positions from BJJ. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I am not like a super high level Brazilian Jiu Jitsu guy, so I do not know or I'm not good with every single guard type out there. But today's episode should give you a very comprehensive breakdown of some of the most common guard types, and I'm going to also talk a little bit about their what they're used for, and personally what I find is good for their self-defense application, and so on and so on. Now, I have more than once expressed or poked fun at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and its self-defense application. And with that said, uh, I have also mentioned that I do have a lot of respect for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I love Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I just think that as a self defense art, it is problematic if that is the only thing you know. Because most of the time, if that is the only thing you know, your first instinct is to go to the ground, which is a big no no in self defense scenario. You do not want to go to the ground. Now, a lot of times you don't have a choice. You end up on the ground. That's when your Brazilian Jiu Jitsu might become useful. But you always need to figure out while you're down there trying to get that armbar, trying to get that choke, the person might suddenly pull out a knife and then game over really quickly. Okay, so I'm not talking smack about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu just for the sake of it. It's just from a self defense point of view, it is problematic. Now, with that said, it does have a lot of good applications, such as in the situation of rape, sexual harassment, being pinned down by a bigger opponent on the street and pounding your face in and you don't know how to react. Those are times when Brazilian Jiu Jitsu can may really well save your life. This is why we really need to um, learn this. It's a very good tool to have in your tool chest. First, let me answer this very common question to people who don't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or grappling. What you keep hearing about guard and mount. What's the difference between a guard and a mount? Well, to put it simply, mount is when you are on top. Any way, any which way. So let's say you get, let's say I got Wesley on the ground, and me pinning him down from the side. That's a mount. Me pinning him with my knee, that's a mount. Me pinning him from astride, that's a mount. Right? These are mounts. When you mount someone, okay? Sound totally sexual, I know. And there's been a lot of jokes about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and what it looks like. We know what it looks like, right? Fighting and sex, there's some kind of correlation in that. Sometimes you just can't avoid something looking a bit sexual, right? Now, so those top positions, these are mounts. Guard is when the other person is trying to be on top. Uh, so when the other person got you on the bottom and you're trying to defend yourself from the bottom or from trying to get yourself away from them and you want to control them with your leg, with your arm, you want to defend yourself from the bottom. These are generally called guard. And not all of them, but most of the guards are applied when you're at a disadvantage. This is why it's called guard. And guard yourself, right? Now, most guards, we'll just talk about guards today. Uh, Most guards are separate into two types: closed guard versus open guard. And it's easy to tell this apart. Closed guard means when I grab the person with my legs are closed, closed. Right? These are closed guard, right? Your open guard means you control the person without closing your leg. So, like this, legs are open, like this, legs are open, like this, legs are open. I know, I know my blind viewers are having a fit right now because I personally know, I know. They like this, that doesn't help, right? Don't worry, I'm going to walk you guys through the one at a time. I'm just doing a quick series of movement to show what's closed, what's open. So just keep in mind, if your legs are closed, to hold on to the person is a closed guard. If legs are open, to control the person is an open guard. Okay, so those are the two main type of guards. Like I said, I do not know every single guard type out there, but today I'm going to show you guys 8 different guard variations, and we're going to talk about them. First, the most simple, most common is the full guard. What is the full guard? Let me turn so you guys can see my leg. Full guard is when the person is coming down on top between my and I get my leg around them. You always want to try to catch them in this, right? Just the other day, just the other day, I had a student and a friend ask me, why is it in the UFC and MMA, people always trying to get the other person in between their leg when they're on the ground? And so I had a chance to demonstrate this. Okay? It does it look silly? Yes, it looks silly. We most of us know. Believe me, when we first learned this, a lot of us might be a little bit squeamish about this because it looked like, all right, fine, it looked like missionary sex. Okay, it looked very sexual, but there's a reason for this position. You see, if you're under the person and the person have all the mobility to stand up and pound your face with their fist, and stand up and drop their knee on you, stand up and start kicking, the fight will be over very quickly. Huh? You don't have any way to really deal with that. So, to prevent them from being able to move that good, you need to trap their body. And the best way to trap their body is to wrap your leg around them, around their torso, and then cross your ankle behind their back. Okay? Now, from here, while this doesn't look very safe, if you watch this, Wesley's arm can't reach my face. If I straighten my hip, if I bridge my hip off the ground, eh? Wesley can't stand up if I pull his body forward. He can't really do a lot of maneuver if I just roll my hip to bring him to the side. And if I can bring him to the side, then I can get on top and start punching. Right? This is a good way to neutralize the person's advantage. So this is a full guard. Okay, full guards. Um, in the cases where there's no weapon involved, I would say it's a very good thing to learn for self-defense, especially for rape scenarios. Because what are they trying to do with rape? We don't have to go into all that disgusting details, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So you can see that if they're between your legs, you know how to control a person from full guard. This is good. This is good because now the chance of them being able to hurt you is a lot less, right? But because we don't want to get stuck down there You need to be able to get up or uh, change the tide of the battle. So there have been other options that you can change to, um, and we'll get to that. Next to the full guard, we have half guard, and this one is my favorite. What is a half guard? Half guard is when you have, let's say you have someone in the full guard, you wrap your leg around them, and the person somehow push your leg open, and they're crawling over your leg. Now you don't want to let them get away, so rather than trying to ah, turn my body and try to grab their body again, I'm going to wrap my leg around one of their leg, eh? Leg around one of their leg. So my two legs wrap around one of their leg, and then I bring my weight down on the back of their leg. From here, they are to the side. Their body is to the side. They're no longer on top of me, but they can't get away because I'm pinning their one leg with my two leg. So from here, I actually can throw some really good punches. Right? Half guard is my favorite, one of my favorite, because it allows me a lot of leverage while I don't have to worry about being smothered by the person. And whenever I get tired, all I have to do is grab their arm, grab their body, and I can actually rest here for a little bit, right? Because now they have to worry about not planting their face into the ground because I have the weight of my arm on their back and their leg still trapped between my leg. Okay, that's the half guard. A third, the third variation, also one of my favorite moves, is either called the shin guard or the knee shield guard. And what that is when you go from a full guard. I wrap my leg around the person, cross my ankle behind their back. Once I get a hold of an arm or the collar or the lapel, I'm going to open my leg up. So one leg drop open, the other leg bring my shin across the chest and belly. So now my arm is pulling on the arm and lapel, pulling them forward while my shin, my knee, creating that shield, not let them smother me. Right? So from this uh, situation, I can now throw them, roll them over, sweep them by pulling and pushing, pulling with my arm and pushing with my leg, and I can end up on top and start punching. Right? That is the knee shield guard or shin guard. Number four is the sleeve and lapel guard. This one I personally don't like because it ties up a lot of things. It's a little bit more complex, but some people are really good at it. So what you do in this one is, again, we go from full guard, my leg wrapped around their body, my ankles crossed behind them. Now I'm going to try to grab either their sleeve, their arm, the wrist, or grab one wrist and one lapel, or grab both lapel. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to grab whatever in the upper body that I can secure my grip to. Once I secure that grip, then I open up my guard and I put my heels against their hip bone. This way, if they try to move, I just push with my leg. I push with my leg. I can redirect their momentum, and I'm not pinned under them. Okay, I can pull their lapel to the side and drive with my foot. I can grab their sleeve and pull them up and push with my leg until lift them overhead. There's a lot of options. Okay, it's like a puppet show. It's like controlling a puppet. It's kind of fun, but in the self-defense scenario, I don't like this because you got your arm and your leg all tied up, which means if you mess up, if you drop one thing, or if their sleeve suddenly tear and you lose that point of control, you have a fight on your hands. Suddenly they might reach back and grab a knife, or they start pounding you, and you have to like try to secure a block from here. It's not ideal. Okay, but again, some people like that. Next, I'm going to show you guys a different kind of. This is one variation of an open guard that again is kind of cool. I know there's a name for this. It's a reverse something something guard, but I can't remember the full name. So again, we go from full guard, me wrapping my leg around the person's torso, crossing my ankle behind their body to control them, and to maneuver into this next guard. Again, I secure a lapel or a sleeve. You can do both hands on one arm or one hand on each arm, depending on what you can get a hold of. Now, from here, I'm going to drop my leg open and hook my heel behind their thighs. So, yeah, I know. This still look like missionary sex, right? This still look really sexual. But this gave me very good control, and it has an interesting consequence. It's not allowed in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but in Krav Maga, once we secure this, once we drop our leg open and drop our heel down to the ground and hook their leg from the side like this, then I can actually start stumping the back of their calf. I can stump the knee joint. I can kick them in the back of the hip with my heel. Okay, I can do a lot of punishing move from here that, like I said, not allowed in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but in Krav Maga it's perfectly okay. So that's why I personally like that one. I really like that one. Whew, hot. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys a couple of more different, interesting guard variation. I'm going to show you guys the butterfly guard. Butterfly guard is when you're sitting, you're not laying down this time, you're actually sitting, you grab the person's sleeve, one in each hand, and you put the soles of your feet together and drop your knees open, and then you thrust your leg between the other person's thigh, and you hook your feet behind their thigh. So from here, if they come forward, you can kick with your leg to lift them off the ground. If they try to turn to one side, then see how I can just drop them to one side and I can still maintain the butterfly. Uh, and anytime I want, I can actually drop this and stand up and run away. Okay? Butterfly guard, it has an advantage that it gives you the freedom to get up whenever you want, as long as they are not holding on to you. Right? Personally speaking, I don't like butterfly guard just because I never feel very stable when I'm in butterfly guard. But some people are really good at that. Next, I'm going to show you guys the spider guard. We've shown this one on the episode before. Spider guard is when you're sitting or laying down, huh, and you got the person by the sleeve or wrist. So my hand grabbing his arm by the sleeves, and I bring my heel up by put my feet on his bicep. So look at this. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. My right hand gripping his left sleeve, my left hand gripping his right sleeve, my left foot is on his right bicep, my right foot is the right bicep. Okay, this seems like a really peculiar kind of uh, guard, but it's very effective if you're good at this. Because again, it's like a puppet show. Depending on what he wants to do, I can push, push, pull, and anytime I want, I can kick him in the face, right? And also because in this guard, I got a hold of both arms, so I don't have to worry about him pulling out a knife on me, right? So I got good defensive capability and good offensive capability. I can kick, I can control him so he can't stand up, and I got a hold of his arms so he can't pull a weapon. This is a peculiar looking but very defensive guard position. And from here, you can transition to all kinds of full guard, half guard, knee guard, all kinds of stuff. And if you mess up, as long as you don't let go of their arm, you can go back to spider anytime you want. From spider, we can evolve into what is called a lasso guard. A lasso guard is like a spider guard, but rather than putting my feet on their bicep, a lasso guard, I would then loop their arm over through my feet and then put my feet through under one arm. So I'm trapping the arm with both leg or one leg while pulling on the arm. Okay, so the hands are still in the spider position, grabbing the sleeve, but the leg act as a lasso so they can't run away. I can pull them in with my leg whenever I want, right? Last but not least is the rubber guard. Okay, that sounds totally weird, right? What is a rubber guard? It's a version of guard that you can either be close guard, behind the knee guard, or just regular open guard. But your arm position, you will be grabbing them by hooking the neck, hooking over the shoulder. This is called overhook. So you control them by your leg, but also with your arm, you hook them down behind the neck, behind the arm, behind the shoulder, so they can't really get postured up, right? And the cool part about this, let me show you guys really quick, with a rubber guard, is it translates really good into a, quick arm lock. So let's say the person is in my close guard and they reach back to try to get a weapon or to try to push my leg down. I'm going to overhook behind the shoulder, my right arm, go over the right shoulder, my left arm then shoot under. They are reaching with their right arm behind them. So I just bring their arm up from this position, and from I don't even have to open my guard. I just close my leg, squeeze, and then crank their arm up behind them from here. Okay, very very useful. Like I said, not the best at jiu-jitsu. I'm more into the stand-up striking, but hopefully after this video, it gives you guys a good foundation on your guard work and the different variations and options open to you in your ground game. Thank you for checking out today's episode. I'll be back again tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. I should really draft Kitten for these Brazilian Jiu Jitsu episodes. It will be so much more fun.